question we're going to be talking about is what were memorable things about the play and why? So something memorable about the play was the fact that it was kind of different conflicts between two different worlds, the fairy world and the royal the mortal world. I wasn't expecting that. I had no idea what the play was about. So that was definitely cool, and it was kind of memorable because they interacted within the forest, which is kind of what you think of when you think of fairies, and so that was something that was memorable to me. It was kind of like a fairy tale, but also an ancient story. So the next question is identify 3 major points of tension. So the first point of tension is when Thebes wants to force his daughter Hermes to marry Demetrius, and so she obviously doesn't want to do that. She wants to marry Lysander, and that's the first point of conflict because he either wants to sentence her to death and then even be a nun. So that was the first point of conflict. The second point of conflict would be when the king of the fairies and the queen of the fairies are fighting over the child that they had stolen, and it was kind of like Battle of the Royals because all the other fairies were following them, and the fact that they were fighting kind of had a little bit of disruption within the fairy world. And the third point of conflict is when Puck the fairy, he gives the magical potion to Lysander instead of Demetrius, and then they both love Helena when they're not supposed to, and this causes confusion. It causes sadness between Helena and Hermes, and it's just a crazy conflict. So the third question is, what was the role of theater in the performance, and what was the play within the play? So the play within the play was kind of focusing on marriage and added a comedic twist to it. The play at the end, and as they were practicing the play, at the end it showed how marriage ended everything, and marriage also ended everything in the actual Midsummer's Night Dream with Hermes and Lysander and then Demetrius and Helena. The guy that turned into the donkey's head, he also played a big part within the fairy world. So the play within the play kind of just brought everything together, and it was really kind of just a funny twist at the end of the play to make this a comedy. So, talking about gender within the play, gender is really important. It's always been important in these kind of plays. Thebes tried to control his daughter, which is kind of showing that the male overcoming the woman in this. But another thing that was crazy about gender was the fact that the queen of the fairies and the king of the fairies were fighting because they both had equal power, and one was able to steal this child, and the king was very upset, but she still had loyal followers even when he tried to give her the potion. It was kind of crazy how the women were fighting over the men like this, and the way that it was portrayed was that women are kind of crazy. So that's how it was depicted in this.